want to share this video with someone who thinks you're not qualified. You think your past is so bad that there is no use that God has for you. Of course, you've done some bad things. Most of us have. Um, but specifically, the person who you may have a past, and I'm talking about a criminal past. You've done some horrific things, and you've believed that those things have disqualified you from being loved by God and being used by God. I want to share a brief testimony with you here. On yesterday, 11/29, it's an anniversary date of mine, and I was sharing it with some employees of mine. I manage a hotel, and when the young man said, "What is today's date?" he was signing some papers, and I said 11/29. And then I said, "Oh, 11/29, today is my anniversary." And they both said, "Happy anniversary." And I was like, "Oh, it's not that type of anniversary." And they were like, "Well, what kind of anniversary is it?" And I said, I don't know. Maybe I should tell you guys. Anyway, I went on and explained to them that 11/29 was the sentencing that the judge gave me. Probably close to 20, my oldest child is 33, so probably close to 28 years ago. The judge sentenced me to 11 months and 29 days of probation for a weapons charge. And I was really scared I was going to get some time. My first offense, though, that I had been caught doing, by the grace of God, others were not. But they were shocked to hear that because they know I'm a preacher. I'm their manager, and they were just shocked to hear that. And they were like, "Wow, I never would have thought that." And I explained to them the grace and the mercy of God over my life. And I wanted to share that because my story is a story coming from poverty to being put on probation, to being in the pulpit, and even becoming a probation officer myself. And most people are shocked to hear when I share the story that, yeah, the preacher has a misdemeanor charge, a weapons charge. By the grace of God, I was only sentenced to 11 months and 29 days, plus community service. And I didn't do well with that because I didn't show up every time. And so my probation got extended. But there were some lessons that I learned from that. I always carried a weapon, and I thought I was doing the right thing. And I was in a situation where there was an altercation. I called the police, and I knew I had my gun, and I told the dispatcher that I had my gun. Me and my daughter were together. And so because I told the dispatcher that I had a weapon, I assumed that she told the police, so they were going to be expecting it. So I jumped the gun, no pun intended. I jumped the gun and handed a loaded weapon to the police officer who was walking up the stairs in front of me. Thankfully, they didn't arrest me because I had my daughter. But they gave me a citation and told me I had to come down to 201 Poplar and turn myself in. I don't know if it had been worse if I had to ride in a police car, but I was devastated taking myself down there. And I had to do the mug shot, get a booking number, all of those things. The best thing that could have happened out of this situation was I ended up doing community service. Through that situation, I learned how to serve others. Through that, I learned that everything was not about me, and that there were other people who were suffering and going through. I had lived a life making poor choices, bad decisions, being around the wrong crowd. And so me getting put on probation taught me more lessons than I could have imagined. I found my purpose while doing community service. Okay, do you hear me? I literally found my purpose and my calling and the passion to serve other people. So, you having a past does not disqualify you. Here is a person who lived in poverty. Here's a person who lived her life from the age of 4 trying to commit suicide all the way up until I had my first child. Here is a person who drank and smoked blunts and clubbed and partied and was promiscuous and all of these things. Here's a person who got a weapons charge and was put on probation. And God still saw fit to call me to the pulpit. And then not only that, I became a probation officer to go back and reach young people to try to change the trajectory of their poor decisions in their lives. God had a purpose for me in spite of me. And I want to share that with someone. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter where you're headed. It can even be down the wrong path. God knows how to come down that path, and he knows how to find you and bring you out. And he can use everything that you did along the way to help you go back and reach somebody else. Your past does not disqualify you.